All right, guys. So in this video, we're going to discuss something called inversion. So this is advanced level. The book is English File and Grammar Bank, page 148. All right. So when you look at this page, you can see that this page they've divided this into two big parts, right? So the half of it on the left side, this is explanation of what inversion is. And on the right side, there are a lot of exercises to work on inversion. So what we're going to do is I'm going to explain inversion, the left side, and then we're going to do the right side, which is practicing on exercises. So let's get started. So as you can see here, we've got 3 points, right? 1, 2, 3 points. And as you can see, we got examples for each point. Okay, so the first one, so inversion. So what is inversion? Inversion is from a word invert. It's a verb, invert. Okay, so what does invert mean, guys? Yeah, invert, it means replacing the position. For example, let's say this is A and let's say this is B. So A is in number 1 is coming first, and then B is coming second. So if I'm going to put B in place of A and A in place of B, that's going to be like BA, right? So BA is the inverted version of AB, the first one. So we have inverted here because B we put in the place of A and A we put in the place of B. So this is what we call inversion. Okay, what does it mean in grammar? In grammar, it means we are inverting the position of subject and verb. We are inverting the position of subject and verb, right? But why we do that? Why we do that? Inversion. As you can see, it's very clear. They're saying as a title, adding emphasis. Adding emphasis. So we use inversion to emphasize. And that's what it says here. Look, informal English. So that's formal. Inversion, we use it informal. But even in speaking native speakers, they use inversion a lot, by the way. So informal English, especially in writing, we sometimes change the normal word order to make the sentence more emphatic or dramatic. So to increase the effect of the writing or speaking, or whatever that we are trying to convey. Normal word order. So what does it mean? Normal word order. Normal word order in English language, subject. So let's say S is subject. They come before verb, main verb, right? Subject, they come before verb. That's the normal word order. But if verb comes before subject, then that is inverted form. That is inverted form, guys. So this verb, usually auxiliary verb. Auxiliary. So I'm going to write here AUX. It means auxiliary. Okay. So basically, we are putting the auxiliary verb before subject. Then that becomes inversion. So you might say, hang on, if auxiliary is coming before subject, isn't it a question form? Well, you're right here. Yes, we are using the question form in a way like when we want to form questions for present simple, past simple. Yes, we follow the exact rules, guys, but we don't put question mark because it is not a question. It is inverted sentence. Okay. Now you might say like, how do I know how we make it? Okay. So to make inversion, you need to start your sentence with adverb or adverbial phrases. Adverb or adverbial phrases. The first one, look, this structure is common with negative adverbial expressions, such as not only, not until, never again, no sooner. Okay? So when we start our sentences with these adverbial expressions, negative adverbial expressions, then inversion happens. right? We got the example here. The first one, you see, not only is the plot great, but it's also very well written. So here, if you look, is the verb. Is the verb. The plot is subject. So as you can see here, verb is coming before subject. So this is not a normal word order. So this is inverted word order. And why we are doing it? Because we are starting our sentence with a negative adverbial phrase, not only. And that is inversion. And why we are doing it? A third emphasis, to make our writing or speaking more emphatic, right? So what would be the normal structure of this sentence, right? So I'm going to show you the normal structure of this sentence now. So the normal structure of this first sentence would be like this. The plot is not only great, but it's also very well written. You see what's happening here? The normal. This is the normal structure. I'm just going to write here normal. That is the normal, guys. Yeah, this is normal structure. This one is inversion here, right? So where's the difference? In the normal structure, I am starting with subject. The plot is not. So this is a verb. You see, subject plus verb. Normal structure. And then like not only, yeah, not only as coming after the subject and verb, guys. All right. But if I want to make inversion, then I should put not only in front of here. So when I do that, the position of subject and verb should also change. So verb should come before subject, and which is here, guys. So the next example here now. So it says here, when we use inversion after the above expressions, we change the order of the subject and auxiliary verb. You see, that's the rule here. We change the order of the subject and auxiliary. We invert it. The comparison here. I have never had, you see, I, subject, have had, verb. So subject and subject is coming before verb here, obviously. But what about never? Look, never, when I put it here, look at that, at the beginning. So never, then I should, invert have before I. See, have I. I have I. Can you see that, guys? Right? I have never is becoming never have I. Here's the difference. I have never have I. So have I heard? This is almost like question structure, but it's not a question, guys. It's not a question because I can understand from never that it is an inverted sentence. Okay. So again, why I'm doing it? To make inversion. Why I'm doing the inversion? To make it more emphatic. Guys. Right. So we got more examples here. Not until you can behave like an adult will we treat you like an adult. Look, not until you can behave like an adult will we treat you like an adult. So we got to be careful here. Not only, never, no sooner. When you look at this adverbial phrases, inversion is happening in the same clause. Right? But not only is different a bit. Why is different? Because not only, when I do that, the clause that not only, not until, I mean the not until, right? So the not until is a bit different. So when I say not until, the inversion is not happening in the same clause. It's happening in the second part. Okay? Again, so other ones, we've got other adverbial phrases. So it's important to memorize. Not only, right? Never or no sooner. So the inversion is happening right from the very beginning in the same clause. But not until, as you can see, here we don't have inversion. So this clause, which has got not until, doesn't have the inversion. Inversion happens in the second part. So we need to memorize this part, guys. Right? So how would be the normal structure of this one? Not until you can behave. So it will be like that, guys. We will not treat you. We will not treat you like an adult until you behave like an adult. You see, if you want to compare it, guys, this is a little bit different, right? Yeah. We will not treat you like an adult until you behave like an adult. So not until, where I'm getting the not until. So I'm saying not until. You see, I'm making one and I'm putting it here. So not until, see, you behave like an adult, and then will we treat. So will is coming here after that. Will we treat you like an adult? All right. So I'm just showing it to you just to understand the difference between normal and inverted structure. Never have I had such a ridiculous argument. Never have I had such a ridiculous argument. The normal one, it will be, I have never had such a ridiculous argument. It will be same. The rest of it. I mean, the beginning, look, I have never had. Never have I had. So both correct? Yes, both correct. But what is the difference? I am using inversion just to make my writing more effective, more emphatic, to increase the effect of it. And that's true, actually. When you read that, like, never have I had, you see, the tone changes. Never have I had such a ridiculous argument. Or I have never had such a ridiculous argument. So when you do the inversion, reading also should change. The tone also should change, guys. Okay. Never again will I believe a word he says. If I want to make normal, I will never believe a word he says again. I will never believe a word he says again. You see, this is a normal structure. Now, no sooner, as you can see, no sooner is the formal way of saying as soon as, right? Here, as soon as, no sooner. Same thing. So no sooner is formal one, right? As soon as is informal. So no sooner had the football match started than it began to snow heavily. So if I want to make normal, it will be, it began to snow heavily. So like we can say as soon as the football match started, or we can say had started. It's also fine. Comma. It began to snow heavily. You see, guys? As soon as the football match had started, it began to snow heavily. Right. Now, this is the first point is done. Second point, it says what here? Present simple in past simple. How we're going to make the inversion? So if I want to make inversion for present simple in past simple, as we said earlier, we need to follow the question structure rules. Like how I make this, questions for present simple, I use do, does. What about for past simple? I say did, auxiliary verbs. The same rules will apply for inversion. Okay? Like what? Example, not only did you forget to shut the window, but you also forgot to lock the door. So not only did you forget. Now, if I want to make the normal structure, I say you not only forgot. You see, I don't use did here now. I'm using the past simple, yeah? You not only forgot to shut the window, but you also forgot to lock the door. You see, guys? Same. I mean, you not only forgot to shut. So when I start my sentence with you, subject, that's a normal one. So not only forgot to shut. But when I start my sentence with not only, which is adverbial phrase, then we should apply inversion. So when I apply inversion, as I said, I must follow the rules of question. Here, did you forget? See, guys? Did you forget? Why? Because forgot, you forgot. This is past simple. Right. Another example for present simple now. Not only you become a parent yourself, do you understand? Look at that. Do you understand is a question format, but it is not a question. It is inversion. Okay. So like, until you become a parent yourself, you don't understand what it really means. Or the other way around. So you don't understand what it really means. I'm going to write here. Look, you don't understand what it really means until you become a parent yourself. You see, you don't understand what it really means until you become a parent yourself. So here, when I want to make inversion, right? So let's make do not. Let's make like do not. Why? Because so when I want to invert, so I say not until. Huh? Not until. I'm going to put it here. Not until. Sorry, the second example, right? Not until here. You see, not until, and then the rest it will be the same. Not affected. You become a parent yourself, and then we use the inversion here. Like, do you see? Do you understand what it really means? So that is inversion for present simple. Do, does, or did for past simple we should use, like the way that we use for, to form questions. Right, guys? So point 2 is also clear, I believe. Now we're going to move to point 3. Point 3. 3. Inversion is also used after the expressions. There are also adverbs, right? Only then, only when, hardly, scarcely, rarely. So basically, these examples, from the examples, so we can understand like which adverbs and adverbial phrases we can use inversion with. They're not a lot. I mean, as long as you can memorize these adverbs, only then, only when, hardly, scarcely, rarely, pretty much we're covering all of it. Okay. So they give me example again here. The train began to move. Only then was I able to relax. Look, was I able to relax? That is question format. But it's not a question because I'm starting my sentence with adverb or adverbial phrase. You see, only then. So what is the normal structure here? Like the train began to move. So I was able to relax only then. See, this is a normal structure. I was able to relax only then. But if I want to make it stronger, the effect of it, I say only then was I able to relax. If I say only then I was able to relax, will it be a mistake? Yes, it will be a mistake. So only then I was able to relax. I mean, they understand the meaning, but it is mistake grammatically, guys. It is grammatically mistake. No good. Why? Because was has to be put before the subject in inversion case. Okay, so we should take care of that. Right. Only when, again, look at that. Only when. So the inversion is not happening in the same clause that only when is. Inversion is happening from here. Like the way that we start. So we need to memorize that. So only when. This is a rule. This happening in only when. And also not until. Not until. Look. So inversion is not happening in the first clause. It's happening here. Second. So not until. And we got another one. Look at that. Not until. You see? Not until. Inversion is not affecting in the first clause. It's affecting here. Second part. So not until and only when. So we can just write it here. Not until and only when. This one, inversion happens second clause. Yeah. Second clause. It's going to write like second clause. That means inversion happens in the second clause, not the first clause. Right. What is a normal one? Only when you leave home do you realize? Do you realize how expensive everything is? So if I want to make the normal structure, So do you realize the present simple? So you realize how expensive everything is only when you leave home. You see, you realize how expensive everything is only when you leave home. But when I start with only when, so the only when you leave home, do you realize? Because inversion is happening here, guys. Next example, hardly had I sat down, I can say when or before the meeting began. It's like as soon as I sat down, right? As soon as I sat down, the meeting began, right? It'll be like as soon as I had sat down, the meeting began. Or I can also say the meeting began. Hardly I had sat down. The meeting began, hardly I had sat down. That's also fine, guys. Rarely have I met more irritating person. So I have rarely met a more irritating person. You see, I have rarely met a more irritating person. That's a normal structure. This is a normal one. You see, guys, normal. How do I know normal? The subject and verb. Subject and verb. So subject is coming first. But when I put rarely, then as you can see here, have I. So here, this is like a verb, auxiliary verb, and then subject, I. So the place, the position is changing, guys. We're inverting it. Overusing inversion is no good. As you can see, overuse, right? Overuse of inversion. So inversion should only be used occasionally, time to time, for dramatic effect. But if you overuse it, then you make the English sound unnatural. Not very good. It gets boring, right? That's it. So in this way, we have explained, or we have covered the explanation part. Now we're going to move to the exercise part now, guys.